Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. Do you feel like you're stuck in a memory? Do you feel like you're in a time loop? Do you feel like you're creating illusions, trying to draw away from your true nature, from your true resonance, from your true inspiration? What are you? You are whatever you say that you are. But I'm going to start off by enacting protocols called upon the lag, fire dragon, earth of water dragon, earth of fire dragon, quiet speed dragon, golden orange dragon, Ezekiel, my two black dragons, the black dragon from Saturn, and alpha dragon, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the intergalactic council, the galactic federation of light, grandmother, grandfather, and the tribal women are also in attendance, and so it is. We have a message today. I'm going to share out to all the groups. It's going to be a long message, so please stay tuned. We're cross-posting to different pages, but I'm going to try and share out real quick. So please share out as I'm sharing out. And as I'm sharing out, feel free to donate. Go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Go to MorningStar at I Am Movement, see our TikTok and BitChute. And please like the I Am Movement and make an appointment. Our prices are at $2.99 right now. So it's going to stay like that. We have to get the ball rolling. We have to take ourselves more seriously. And we must proclaim that we are whatever we say that we are. We are not our psychology. We are not what the 3D says that we are. We are not these concept, time loops, illusions that we believe ourselves and assume ourselves to be. We are not our emotions, sense, perceptions, any of those things. Those are things that distract us on the path of enlightenment. They distract us because they keep us away from our true nature, from our true calling, from our true destiny, from our true state of being. We want to vibrate high all the time. How else do we vibrate high if we are giving our power away to these concepts, to psychology, to all of these different things? How are we supposed to be whatever we say that we are? And we need to just proclaim that I am all that I am. And I know that I don't know, but I will know everything when it's time to know it and to speak it into existence. And I can't share out anymore, so please share out as I'm sharing out. But I want you guys, because sometimes when we awaken, we feel like we were in a time loop. We feel like we were living the same day, that it was Groundhog Day, that we were having the same friends, that we were having the same life, we were making the same choices. We were not making different causes to have a different effect. We were playing the script that was written for us, but we need to write our own script. We need to make our own life. We need to create our own creation and not put a label on it, because putting a label on it is like getting Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And as you have Chunky Monkey, you're putting chocolate fudge brownie on it and creating an illusion of what enlightenment looks like for you. You're creating a diversion, a distraction of what you think Source is, but you need to proclaim whatever you think Source is at that specific time. It has to be authentic, it has to be raw, it has to be powerful, and it must be whatever you say you are in that exact moment. So when we awaken, we break the time loop, we break from the illusion, we break from this memory, we break from this description that we've assumed ourselves to be. We gave our power to our family, our friends, our coworkers, everything, and it was all an attempt to try to prove that we were worthy. But we always do this thing. We always search kind of externally outside of ourselves to try to make us feel abundance, to try to make us feel grace. We try to make us feel happiness. But you never are going to feel happy searching externally. You need to start searching internally. It's the internal journey. It's you searching within yourself. It's you integrating what you need to integrate in this incarnation. What you need to preach, what you need to teach, what you need to instill into people. And we put labels. You can say that you're a Reiki master. You can say that you are all these things. You can say that you're this and that you're that. But that is just feeding your ego. That is not purifying the ego. That is not purifying your sense. But you need to say whatever you say that you are. Because the less we assume, the less we see. The less we stop giving our power away to emotions, to sense perceptions, to all of these things within the 3D that drives us away from our true nature, that drives us away and distracts us from tapping in and just saying whatever we say that we are. We are our own gemstone. We're not like a diamond that is fake, that is looks like a diamond, but it's more like a rose quartz. You can't be a rose quartz and you can't be a diamond. You have to be your own gemstone. You have to be your own brilliance. You have to have your own voice, and you must say whatever you think that you are in that moment that is authentic. Because it's authentic, because you're not putting a label on source. You're not giving source a description. You're not giving source an excuse to be this certain way in this indoctrined society that we live in. You are not a concept. You are not graspable. Source can never be attainable. God can never be attainable. That's why I'm so devoted, and that's why I'm so committed to this path, because God is not describable. God is not attainable. You can't put a ceiling on God, because God is a creation within infinity. And the oracle of love, light, and wisdom plants seeds. And as those seeds grow, you plant more oracles. You make more, you spread more love, you spread more light, and you spread more wisdom. That's what it means to be the oracle. You have guides that you channel. You have a source of creation that you're creating in your own authentic way, in your own unique way, because everybody might be saying the same message, but they're not using the same language. They're not choreographing it the same way. They're not speaking it into existence to the same demographic. They're speaking it into existence so that the truth can be out there, because that's what God is. God is truth. And you must have the breastplate. You must have the sword of spirit. You must have the helm of spirit, and be a warrior and know that you're going to withstand the storm. But you need to make a choice today to breathe life and to not breathe death. That's why I love this path, because you become your most individuated self. You become your own personality. You become your own source of creation. You are not trying to do what everybody else is doing. You are not trying to prove to anybody else that you're source. You just say that I am what I am, and I say whatever I say. I speak the truth when the truth needs to be spoken. And you say you are whatever you say that you are, because that's truth. You can be a Reiki master, you can be this, you can have your certification, but what are you giving me? Are you giving me your heart? Are you giving me your source of creation? Are you giving me your raw, authentic truth being displayed? Are you putting your heart out on a platter and serving it up to us? Are you being authentic? Are you being real? Are you being truthful? Are you being devoted to this path and having a lot of being very humble? Do you have a lot of humility? So what is it that you are? You are just source in your own individuation. You are just source in human form. You are just creating what you want to create, what you want to see, what you want your destiny to be. So if we are a creation in infinity, we cannot have lack. We cannot have these emotions. We cannot have these labeling. We cannot be attained. We cannot be graspable. We can't be intellectualized. We can't be institutionalized. We are free beings. We are a free, open, expanded consciousness. We are ever expanding consciousness. We just flow. We don't have these attachments. We don't have attachment to scenery, attachment to people, attachment to emotions. That's why you get to be free on this path. That's why you get to be your superhero today. That's why you get these superpowers. But it's your superpower. It's your voice. It's not anybody else's voice. But you're not in this time loop. You're not living the same day anymore. So make different choices. Change the energy up. That's the only way that we get grounded. That's the only way that we obtain this knowledge that we've had since the dawning of mankind. We've always had this knowledge. We just have been suppressing it for so long. We've been suppressing it through past incarnations. But now we have the attainability to this knowledge. So, but what excites you? What choices are you going to make? What different decisions are you going to make? Who are you going to talk to? How are you going to up-level your business? It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter if it looks like what I'm doing, because people have changed their life by the grace of God. Rather, they've been in prison and they write something on a piece of paper and it just manifests like that before their eyes. And they're not even spiritual. This has nothing to do with only being spiritual, but it does have something to do with spirituality, because everything has to be, in a sense, spiritual. You cannot be your psychology. I just find that to be another excuse and giving your power away and putting God down. You're putting Source at a level that it can't be at. Source can only go higher. That's why the higher beings, that's why the galactic beings, they go 12th dimensional. And the other beings that are very at a much lower vibration, they only go from lower densities. They can't grasp us. They can't travel. They can't manifest like we do. They can't speak truth into existence because they're coming from a lower vibration. But what does it mean to break from the time loop? What does it mean to stop creating these illusions that you don't identify yourself with? You can't identify yourself with a 3D no longer. It takes a couple years to fully embody who you are and imbibe who you are, but once you get past that, once you clear these things, once you integrate these things, once you learn a lot of things are on the horizon for all of us. But we must understand that we have to be whatever we say that we are in that moment, and we can't put a label on source. We can't put a description to source. We can't assume source. We can't emotionally be attached to our emotions. And we must be clear, empty, purified, and no assumptions, and more decisive. So what excites you? What really turns the dial for you? Who do you want to be? How do you want to dress like? How do you want to look like? Because you have the chance to be your own person today. You have the chance to live and walk in the blessing of God's source energy in your higher self. So what decision can you make today? What choice can you make today to make that sort of happen for you? It's not always about the answer, but you need to ask yourself a lot of questions. That's what creates this whole paradox. That's why paradoxical arguments are wonderful, because it's always the question that drives the conversation. It's not always about the answer. We're always seeking for the answer. We're always seeking approval. We're always trying to prove things to people, to the universe, that we're so enlightened, that we're so much like this person, that we're so much like that person. You need to be whatever you say that you are. And everything around you in your reality kind of confirms what you are and what you're trying to vibrate as. So if everything in your reality is confirming what you are, rather you are doing a live feed, rather you are having a job that really angers you, that really stresses you out, and it's not speaking to your heart, and it's not speaking to who you are as source, well, everything is showing you that you're living in the illusion, you're giving your power away to the illusion, and that you're creating more illusions and distortion and giving your power away to concepts that has nothing to do with who you are as source. So stop trying to put yourself on a pedestal. Stop trying to put yourself in a concept. Stop trying to boost your self-image or your ego, and purify it and come from a place of love, and come from this brain, not this brain. Get up to this brain, because you are just consciousness. Consciousness is expanding all the time. Consciousness is changing all the time. Consciousness is migrating all the time. So why are we trying to put a ceiling on ourselves? Why are we trying to put ourselves in a picture, in a vision of enlightenment that only works within the parameters of this picture? Why are you thinking that you have a ceiling already? Why do you feel like you're done? That's the beauty of this journey. We're never done. We're never done learning things. We learn new things every day. We learn that we're blessed every day. We learn that every day that we're walking and we're talking and we're alive and we're exercising, and that we are just living our day-to-day lives. Even if you don't have all the money in the world, what the fruits of life is that you can meditate, that you can live your life and be fruitful. But how are you being fruitful? Are you being ungrateful? Because sometimes we can get complacent and ungrateful about this path because it's so hard, because we haven't seen results. But God would not put this on our path if we could not handle it, if we could not persevere through the illusion and kind of change our inner reality to fit conventional reality. We're not trying to change the world. We're just trying to make the world a better place. And I feel like sometimes people want to stay in this time loop. They want to stay within the illusion. They want to act like just because they have this, just because they have this amount of money, just because I have this and I have that, this proves to me that I'm more than who you are. I'm more of source in this way than you are. That's ego. That's not God. God is not ego. God is truth. And God would not give you the power to speak truth. He would not give you a platform to speak truth if you were just going to run your mouth and speak ill of people instead of wishing them well. Even the people that want you to fall. Don't wish them ill, wish them well. Don't stoop to people's level, because that's not being convicted in your stance. That's not being who you are. That's not source in human form. That is not truth. That is just this figment of their imagination of what spirituality looks like. We try to conceptualize spirituality. We try to put spirituality in a box. Spirituality is a man-made concept. But today we have leeway to change the way that we've been going about the collective. What authenticity is, what prosperity is, what wealth is. And I'm sorry, but we have had this wrong way of going about this, that you have to act like this way, that you can't smoke a cigar, that you can't just wear a t-shirt, that you have to wear a garb or some sort of have this crazy hair and only eat plants to be enlightened, and that we have to sit under a bonsai tree in order to be enlightened. That's a waste of time. I meditated for 20 minutes before I got on here. Do you think I wanted to waste my time with that? I'm being fast-tracked. And the only way to fast-track is to stay committed, is to stay grounded, is to stay with that fire, with that passion, with that raw intensity, with that authenticity, the courage of authenticity, having a lot of courage to not give up. Just because you had one bad day does not mean that you're going to have a series of bad days. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenge. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have trials and tribulation. But what it means is that they have great things for you. They would not put that in your path if they did not have great things for you, dear beloved. They would not make you suffer. And it's not even making you suffer. We just think that they're making us suffer. We feel like that they're playing a trick on us, and it's not that at all. It's just because they want you to grow up. They want you to change. They want you to imbibe this enlightened being. They want you to imbibe the higher self. And the higher self does not think of limiting beliefs or false narratives or any of these things that the 3D has constructed on us to make us believe that we are weak, that we are battered, that we can't do this and we can't do that, that we shouldn't talk this way, that we shouldn't use this word, that we shouldn't say fuck or any of those things. That's an illusion. And once you see through that illusion, once you get on the path of self-remembrance and the veil is sort of lifted from your face, you see that that's not the truth. That's not how you want to live your life, but that may be how someone wants to live their life. But that's not the way that you want to live. That's not who you want to imbibe. That's not who you want to be as your own source of creation. That is a lie. You are whatever you say that you are. And if you say that you can't do it, you won't be able to do it. But if you say that I will persevere, I will have grace, I will have voice, I will have this language that I'm speaking, and put it into terms to where you can understand it, so that you can go about your day in times of contemplation and meditation, and maybe you can think back on this and be like, maybe I can look at this observation. That's what enlightenment is. It's a whole observation of how we've been living our life wrong. It's a whole observation of observing the observer. Investigate the intuitive investigator within you. Investigate your emotions. Investigate the sense perceptions, your assumptions, your illusions, or these obstacles that you're creating for yourself. And stop creating it, and only create a space so that you can create differently. So why can't we just create differently? Why can't we Just be our own source of creation. Don't put a label on it. Just leave it as it is and just say that I am all that I am. And I know that I don't know everything that I'm supposed to know until it is the exact moment that I'm supposed to know it. But I only know that I am all that I am, and I am all that I say that I am at that exact moment. That's why I love meditation. That's what I love integrating. That's what I love about clearing. You will shed a lot of tears, but it's not tears of sadness. Sometimes it could be tears of joy. Sometimes you're slain in the spirit. Sometimes you are feeling ecstasy. That's what you need to feel like. You are not a human being suffering. You're not a human being that's limited. You are not a human being. You are a sovereign being. You are God in human form. And you're living out your prophecy. You're living out your journey. There needs to be strive within that journey. It's like we're playing a video game that never ends. We're beating the video game several times, and we're stronger, we're tougher, we're more agile, we got these abilities, and the game itself just becomes a tad bit harder. It's just a tad bit. It's just kind of enhanced a bit, and we have to go through all of this. But we're choosing to live in heaven. We're choosing to let the doors of heaven be laid at our feet. And we're not choosing this human hell that everybody has chose for themselves for a long time. But how many times are we going to die to get this right? How many times are we going to live the illusion to see through the illusion? How many times are we going to create obstacles in our way? How many times are we going to be in this time loop, living the same day, doing the same thing? And then once we break away from it, we are perceived like we are the crazy person. But actually, it's the other way around. But it's not their fault. It's not anybody else's fault that they're living this illusion. It's because they made us have free will for that same reason, so that we could have the choice of seeing through it. I'm not saying there is no beauty within this illusion. But once you realize that everything that you went through, that everything post-awakening was an hallucination to get you back to acting, to talking, to intellectualize source so that other people can see their truth. That's why it's not the service to self sort of path. It's the service to others. You are helping others. You are not just helping yourself. I do this partly for myself, but I don't do this for my health. I do this because I want to bless people, because they need to hear this. And I need to hear it as it's coming out of me, as I'm channeling my higher self and embodying and imbibing the higher self, because that's the only way that you're going to obtain your own brilliance, once you imbibe the higher self in its full, rich perfection. Creation is perfection. And whatever you are creating, how you're doing it, doesn't matter how you're doing it, but it's awesome that you are doing it, that you are able to be free and to speak your mind and to speak truth within existence and to be the sovereign being of enlightenment, so that you can be on this sacred timeline. And as you are on this sacred timeline, you are not only having an impact on other people, and it sort of gets the word around. And as the word gets around, it sort of touches hearts and minds and inspires people. That's our true nature, is inspiration. Whenever we inspire people with a single thought, with a single word, with a single phrase, with a single quote, that's magic, that's beauty. But you will never get any of these gifts if you don't search within. Stop looking outside of yourself. Stop looking at your neighbor. Stop looking at your friends, your coworkers, your family, whatever it may be, and start looking at the heart. Start looking within your state of being. Start searching within yourself. What do you want to emulate? How do you want this moment to be? How do you want to be an example to the other light workers so that they can start searching within themselves, so they can be brilliant, so they can change their life? Because that's the all-encompassing question of why we're even here. That's the big question that we always have. Why are we here? What are we meant to do? How did we get created? How do we incarnate here? Are we the soul? Are we this? Are we that? You are whatever you say that you are. You can't look for the mind. You can't find the mind. You can't find it anywhere. You can't find this knowledge in a book. You can't get this upliftment for ascension from anybody else. You have to start going from within your state of being. You have to make a decision, make a choice. Who do I want to be today? Do I want to be Satan or do I want to be God? Those are the two choices. And I'm not saying just because I'm spiritual that I'm God. I'm saying that in anybody's situation, it could be Tony Robbins, it could be a prisoner, it could be someone who gets out of prison, writes something down on a piece of paper, it could be a multi-billionaire. It doesn't matter. But make this one decision, that I want to breathe life, that I want to breathe abundance, that I want to breathe empowerment, that I want to breathe transformation, anointing, healing, grace, power. The tenderness of my heart is my authority. We all have empathic hearts. We all are clearing things for the collective and awakening things out of the collective. That's why I feel so convicted in this path. That's why I feel like I have a calling. But that's the beautiful thing. When you feel like you have a calling, when you feel like you have your purposeful purpose, you feel like you're dedicating your life to something. And that's why I'm honored to do this path. It's honorable to stick with your guns. It's honorable to keep going live. It's honorable. I'm not saying it's more honorable than people out on the front lines. I'm not saying that whatsoever, because that's honorable. But it's honorable to stay true to your state of being, to stay true within your frequency, to surround yourself with the things that make you feel loved. Is to create your own reality. Is to manifest what you want to see manifest. Is to attract the wealth and the prosperity by using the law of subtraction. And then you start to attract things, and then you have the self-realization. And then you start acting on the things, and then you start empowering yourself to do all these things that you say that you can do, because you're saying whatever you say that you are. And as you say that, you just know that you're the I am. I am what I am. I don't know everything that I'm supposed to know, but when I'm supposed to know it, I will know it. You are not your psychology. You are not these funny little things within the 3D. You are not any of these false narratives. You are not stuck in the time loop. You are not stuck anymore. You are not stagnant anymore. You are not creating obstacles and illusions in front of your way anymore. You are finally embodying the riches of life, the fruits of life, the abundance of life. The only way that you're going to find inner peace is in times of contemplation and times of meditation. That's the only way to find it. That's the only way to implement everything that you learn. All of these things that you've cleared, lifetimes, spirits, all of these things. But you never stop learning. You never stop growing. You never stop transforming. But that's the beautiful thing about enlightenment, is that you never stop going. Your soul never stops. Death does not do its part. You are the soul, and you might incarnate in another galaxy, but it doesn't matter. But what matters is this present moment, right in the now, is what truly matters for the upliftment of ascension. That is what truly matters within this moment, within your future, and not looking back. Don't take 2 steps back and expect that you're going to take 2 steps forward. It's not going to happen. So you have to live present, because you're sending signals out. You're sending out those signals, you're sending out that love, you're sending out that healing, you're sending out that anointing, that prosperity. You're sending everything out, and you can't be afraid to ask. So don't be afraid to ask today, but ask yourself, ask God for the things that you desire, and allow Him to make it your will. And then you are a better God. You are a powerful God. You have willpower. You have faith. You have patience. You don't lose your cool. You're more purified in your stance. You're more purified in who you are and whoever you say that you are. Because you know that you're not anything. You are not any of these things. You are not this window. You are not that wall. You are not this cigar. You are not any of these things. But you know that you are just the I am. And that is a creation in infinity. And the only illusion to truly see through, if you don't see through any illusion, is that to see God within. To see God within. That is the biggest illusion to see through. But don't run with that and boost your ego. Don't take that for granted. Don't take credit for that. But just be blessed. Be graceful that Source has a calling and a destiny on your life. But I think I've talked long enough. I think you guys got the gist of this. And please share out to all the groups. Feel free to donate. Go to BitChute, MorningStar at I Am Movement, TikTok, MorningStar at I Am Movement, Instagram, I_am_movement, all lowercase. And also, please go and like the I Am Movement, make an appointment. It will be the best $300 that you ever spent in your life. We pull cards, I'm a healer, and MorningStar is a master intuitive. But let's get into some healing. I'm going to be doing Super Mudra energy and doing some light language. So please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Ishipamataya ati hima hoya shipamataya ishikanakaya ati aya shiti pamikanakaya totikanakaya oshiti maaya otetinataya shiti pamakaya ati hima hoya ati kanakaya ishipamatoya shatepaya aya ati hima koya ati hima haya shiti pamotaya ati hima hoya ati shimataya Shiti Pamokaya Ati Emma Ho. Search within. Search eternally. And once you search within your heart, once you expand your consciousness, you will be an ever expansion of creation. You will be your own source of creation. You will be so absolute. You will be purified in your stance. You will be whatever you say that you are, not these illusions that they've made us believe for so long about source in our own way. It's a new way, it's a new day, it's a new age. It's a sacred timeline. And your gift, your anointing, is sacred. It's precious. Protect it. Protect the blessing and walk in the blessing. And all you will experience is ecstasy, true ecstasy. That for the first time you get to use your imagination. And you get to create parallel realities. And you get to create something that has never been seen before. It is not anybody else's voice, but it is yours. It's yours to do whatever you feel that you should do with it. Feel it within. Feel it in all aspects of your walk, of your journey. And only breathe life. But take a deep breath, dear beloveds. Take one more. But when I snap my fingers, you will come back to. You will be the revamped, updated version of yourself, which is the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom, which is God. And God is omnipresent, and you are an omnipresent being of love, light, and wisdom. You are at service at all times. You will have a greater sense of clarity. You won't question. You'll be decisive. You'll be determined. You will be convicted. You will be devoted. And you will be humbled to be in this present moment so that you can walk within the highest light of your destiny. Take one last deep breath. So if you would like to make an appointment with me or Morningstar, it would be the best $300 that you ever spent in your life. It's $299. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to invest in your life, in your journey, in your path, in your empowerment. Please go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Please go to our I Am Movement. If you are on here, like the page. We have 600 people who like the page. Let's make it 1,000. Let's make it 10,000, 100,000. And it's I, capital M, capital M, capital. The rest is lowercase. Like the page. Make an appointment. And also, go to our TikTok, MorningStar at I Am Movement. Check us out on Divine Ray. And also, BitChute, MorningStar at I Am Movement. So thank you all for tuning into this broadcast. I love you, and I hope you all have a blessed day, evening, or morning. Bye-bye.